What is going on, Big Trucker B family? How y'all doing today? It is your boy Big Trucker B, and do I have a phenomenal video for you guys today? We have something going on that's unprecedented. It's unheard of, and that's having someone that's a staff counselor and someone that gets you a job right after you're done with the staff counselor. First, let me introduce Charles Irby, the staff. We got Charles Irby. He is here to help you guys get compliant, get back onto the road. Thank you for being with us, Charles. And then, of course, we got Patrick McGee or Dion, right? Dion?
Yes.
SAPcompanies.com. SAPcompanies.com has over 300 plus companies, SAP-friendly companies for you as soon as you're done with Charles over there, you hop over to SAPcompanies.com and they will hook you up, getting back on the right track. Mr. Charles Irby, I've had you on here before, and thank you for coming on, especially with Dion, man. Both you guys, I think this is going to be this is going to be a good start because we're pioneering something, right? This is an evolution, correct? We're on the right track for success for not just us, but for everybody, getting them on the right track as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the whole main goal is for everybody in the industry, especially all of our drivers, to get back on track. So start watching our podcast. Yeah.
Definitely. And we're definitely going to work on getting more of these done. And again, the main reason for this video is SAPcompanies.com. We're going to get more into Dion here and how he created it, how he started this, and how to get you guys jobs. Because one of the main issues we see out here, Charles and Dion, what is it? Getting people into work, right? Getting them.
We're trying to do the drug test and all the follow-ups afterwards, and to find a reliable company that best fits that individual is like the main goal, because everybody have different preferences to the type of company they will want to work for. So giving that on a silver platter is, it's perfect.
And that's exactly what it's very silver platter. So yeah, we got a lot going on. Definitely stay the whole video because you will not want to miss what's going on. But first, Charles, let's get into it. We got a lot to talk about, man. We went to the talking points, and man, I don't even know where to begin. The step 5 return to the step, the CDL downgrade. Now, I want to talk about this one. The CDL downgrade for violations, violators starting in November 2024. What else can they stack on us on that? How else can they make it harder for us?
Exactly.
Basically, you get a violation, you don't got your CDL until that violation is clear. Is that correct?
Right. Like you said, they keep wanting to sack the quarterback. I mean, how much loss can we take? So it says right here in the newsletter, a driver with a drug and alcohol program violation is prohibited from performing safety-sensitive functions. We knew that, including using your CDL. However, beginning November 18th of 2024, so that's going to be next year, next November, as part of the FMCSA, a driver that's prohibited, which means if you got a SAP violation, status on the FMCSA clearinghouse will be denied or lose their state issue CDL. If you got a violation, according to this, the way it reads, you will lose or be denied your CDL by the state DMV, which means they're taking you out of your career, more than just prohibiting you, taking you completely out of your career when you got a SAP violation. And until you go through the SAP process, you will not have your CDL. So that's a sack for a loss right there. So that's a turnover. What
I don't get about this is, obviously it shows a violation. We can't get a job, but in order to get cleared, you have to go through the SAP program, right? You get step 5. Yes. You got to go through. You got to get your drug test done by the company on step 6 and step. But in order to do all that, now you have to go to the DMV, show them that you got cleared, right? It's not just.
Good question. That's the part that's not known to us, and I believe they saying something. Well, they give us this information: the clearinghouse status must be complete so that they can get their status back to not prohibited. clearinghouse status must be complete. That's a little vague. I think they're saying you got to go through the SAP
Yeah.
program. I think that's what
Yeah.
they're saying. And then the clearinghouse will make you go do their thing, at least from the federal to the state, and get you valid again, your CDL. But there's pieces like you mentioned, Brad, that's not in there, So
Yeah, that's a lot. What do you think about that, Dion?
It sounds pretty new to me. I don't really know what to say about it, man. It sounds like they just trying to take you and just force you to do whatever you have to do to get back on the road. It's just like an extra step that you have
yes,
to go.
yes,
I think
It's a
it's
yes.
already pretty long.
Yeah, I think that's kind of ridiculous. So I'll probably do some more videos on that in the future once we get more information. And I want to thank Charles for
Yeah,
actually pointing that out
yeah,
because I knew nothing about this. This is a whole new
yeah,
situation, and that's why we're making this video, man. There's a lot going on that we have been building up on. So, next thing I want to go over is the non-compliance letters for drivers abandoning the SAP process. What was that,
yes. Well,
Charles?
some drivers they s- they select a SAP on the clearinghouse and they
Hmm.
want to continue on with the process. Some even pay to go on with the process. And then they stop for whatever reason. They just stop for months and months and months, maybe up to a year. At some point, typically with my company, we give it about maybe 6 months. Then we try to reach this driver again to find out where they're at and what their intentions are. And if we can't, by law or federal regulations, we have to issue them a non-compliance letter. And that means basically you're not
Starting
totally
over.
dropped from the SAP process. Yeah, you may have to start over because you may not be the same person as you were 6 months ago. You know what I mean? You may have a raging addiction that needs to be reassessed, or a mental health or an emotional health issue. You need to be reassessed at that time, which could or could not include another new SAP fee since the SAP is starting over again. Also, we want to make sure that we want to at least have drivers stay on track. Let them know that this is a non-compliance. It doesn't mean you're totally out of the system. It means you are just in a state of suspension. You're
Yeah.
suspended. You're just floating until you make a move. You'll stay floating. You will not be eligible. You stay in a state of non-prohibited. You'll be prohibited from driving.
So in other words, the best way to put this is once you start, don't stop. Just get it done.
Yeah.
That, is
The
that the
best,
best
yeah.
way
Pretty
to say
much.
it? Yeah.
We just got they just be put on hold. Yeah,
All right.
But
All right.
everybody's situation may be different. Having family issues or this or the third.
Mhm.
Some just any reason why a
yeah,
truck driver may just stop the process and maybe look to do it in the future,
yeah.
basically. You know.
Definitely. Definitely.
That's a good
Well,
point
that's
because that's a lot of the excuses I hear is this family issues.
Yeah.
on to this next subject real quick. You also mentioned only employer or consortiums can order a RTD step number 5 drug test. Yeah, I actually knew about that. You cannot do it yourself. I've actually seen some people in Facebook
Yeah,
groups
yeah.
talking about, oh, well, I'm going to wait the 5 years and get back on the road. I'll just do the drug test myself. No, like you cannot
You still
unless you
have
go
to
through it.
accept that return to duty process
No.
before it can be knocked off your record.
And
It
that
doesn't it go
exactly,
from the doesn't it go from the day you finish the program, all your follow-ups,
yep.
until 5 years? So that's really 6 years if you look at it that way.
Yeah, what we're talking about is the only the employer or consortium can order a RTD Step 5 drug test. And I noticed that on like Facebook groups and stuff, a lot of these guys think they could just wait the 5 years and it automatically goes off their SAP or whatever without even doing the RTD. Or some people might even think that they could do their own drug tests and send it to the FMCSA or the consortium.
No,
No, it's not how it
no,
works.
that's not how it works. I got some information on that. Driver violation records will be available on the clearinghouse for 5 years from the date of violation. Okay. Or here's this part. or until the violation is resolved through successful completion of going through the SAP process.
What do you mean the
So,
or?
it,
So,
yeah, that's the
uh,
part. That's saying that if you do nothing, it's going to be available on the clearinghouse for 5 years, or which means it's no longer going to be on the clearinghouse for 5 years until the violation is resolved, which means do nothing and it stays on the clearinghouse for 5 years. You get it resolved, then it's taken off the clearinghouse. It
so you're
will
saying
show
that
as
that's confusing me. You're saying that I can like all right. So say God forbid me or Dion here or somebody fails a drug test, right? And we have to go back on the SAT program, and we say, well, we're screwed. We could sit for 5 years, not even have to go on the SAT program.
as so far that's the information that I have, that you can set it out and it will eventually go away after 5 years. I've been hearing there's so many different opinions about this.
So
Somebody
I
says
thought it
no,
was
it stays on there forever.
no, not forever. We all know that. Even if it's
No, yeah,
CSA, clearly, not
Mhm.
forever. But I thought it was after you finished the SAT program, like after step 6, you're clear. It stays on as a violation on the bottom little section, but you're clear for
you're
five
clear.
years.
Exactly. Now
Yeah.
that's the good part right there. Once you go through the SAP process, it will show zero open violations, which is what you
Open,
want.
but it will
Yeah,
show
open.
past
Now, but
five.
you hit a root around in there on the screen or going to a violation summary, you'll find out that you had a past violation. It's your violation stays hidden away or somewhere in the clearinghouse for 5 years.
Yeah,
However,
but
on
after
the
5 years,
face,
it'll be clear. Uh-huh.
after 5 years, it's completely gone. But the main thing, you go through the SAP process, and then and you go through all the steps after so many months, and the violate all steps are taken, especially step 6. Is
Hmm.
you now have zero violations, open violations, which is what employers want to see. If you
Yeah.
got zero open violations, you're no longer a SAP driver. You're a regular driver now. You got no
Yeah,
open violations. But that one
but
violation will stay there on the clearinghouse until you go through the SAP process. After how many months that the SAP prescribed and all the steps are done, you still have one violation.
So, like, I don't have something to say about that. Like, doing my search, during the time I become a self driver, there's some companies, it's just depending on. So it's more like, we have some companies that may hire a driver fresh out of school that failed the drug test. Some might
Hmm.
want 3,
Yes,
some say 6, some say a year, some say 2. But the maximum that you will see is 5 years after completing the SAP program.
the
Because
maximum.
if it's
The
after that one
maximum is
year,
5 years.
so I'm gonna just move it on. Now you said the employers have the authority to cancel. Now I've seen this. You said the employers have the authority to cancel
Yeah.
and not drug screens to clearing as a violation. What in the world? I actually against the law. I don't think that should be allowed. Um,
Yeah.
are
so
you
so the
saying that?
so what that means is the company has the authority to cancel the driver's SAP at any given moment within his process.
What it means is that the employer has the authority to not post it. There could be a refusal that occurred, or the employer feels that, this driver, blah, blah, blah. They have the authority not to post it or to post it.
That could be a
Sorry,
good thing, maybe.
I read this all wrong. That I thought it was like, oh well, if an employer is like having to want to have a vendetta against you for quitting, they'll try to cancel your sat. But no, what you're saying is, oh, you failed a drug test. I ain't gonna tell nobody about this. We'll sweep it under the rug. Just don't do that shit again. You're saying they're allowed to do that now.
That's something I'm saying that I don't want to comment on that because
Okay.
that leaves the interpretation open for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I will say
Okay.
this: they have they have the authority to cancel it. They say, okay, I don't want this guy to have this violation, and they have the authority now, from what I'm reading now, to take it off the
Mhm.
clearinghouse. And
Yo, if anybody's watching, this is why I want you guys to watch the full video. There is a lot of information, and it's only getting better. We still have a lot more to talk about, um, because this is the little stuff. This is the little stuff that's not talked about too much, and
yeah,
that's me. You said the proper way to release THC out of your system, and I know why you sent that. Now, it might sound bad to some people out there, but here's the thing: if you're trying to get clean and you want to, but you don't think you did it enough, like
hmm
what people don't know is how long THC can stay in your system, how to get it out of your system. So this is the you want to explain the proper way to release it, so that way people, when they do take their drug test, they're clean and clear. They don't mess up, even whether before they're even in the STAT program. There are a lot of people that owners are truck drivers now. They quit. So Charles, can you explain to me the proper way to get THC out of someone's system?
yeah. The proper way to get rid of the THC out of your body is it does come out of your breath, not your sweat. Drink a lot of fluids like Gatorade, apple cider vinegar, cranberry juice, and go for walks. Some movement in your body. You know, it's an aerobic breathing type situation. It comes out quicker when you view it like that. It does not necessarily come out as well when you're thinking about sweating it out. No, it doesn't really come out of the pores of your skin that way. It comes out of your respiratory system. So that's the thing about THC. Yeah.
So, so let's get back to that. So proper way to release THC out of the system, like you were explaining
Yes.
earlier, is through aerobics, breath. That comes out of the breath. It does stay in your fatty cells, but the best way is out of the breath.
Yes.
By doing aerobics and running. Okay, and then
Yeah.
hydration is key. Okay,
Yes. Yes.
and of course, Gatorade, vinegar, or apple cider vinegar. Okay,
Yes.
and the reason why we're sharing this with people is because the number one cause for people getting the STAT counseling program right now is because failure for THC and how long THC lasts in your system. A simple bowl can last up to a month, maybe more. Like, and it definitely can last your hair follicle. So, with the
Yeah.
legalization of weed these days, this is good information, especially if people want to, get away from that and like get into trucking. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with weed. Like, I have zero problems with THC or weed. I think it should be regulated like alcohol, in the trucking industry, but the rules are rules right now, you know.
Yes. That's right. That's right. And the thing about marijuana is that it's very prevalent in the trucking industry, like you said. However, with my process, Mr. Charles, Focus 7, my process, we will have the driver go through steps 1 and 2, then stop. They'll do the assessment and the drug awareness course or treatment, then stop.
Mhm.
Go to CVS, Walgreens, get the cheap over the counter kits. They can test themselves at home. When they come up and start posting some negatives, then they will go in for my SAP drug screen, which is at a clinic or urgent care, so it can replicate a real return to duty pre-employment orientation type drug screen. Mr. Dion
Mhm.
probably knows about that. So that when I do that, I find out over and over again, people's systems get clean maybe in 2 to 3 days. They don't have to set it out 30 days. So they can go continuously
Yeah.
and through their SAP process without a
Mhm.
long delay.
Unless they get in the hair follicle company, which, speaking of
Oh,
companies, let's get into that. Guys, we got something big for you. Over the past, what, 2 years now, Charles,
yeah,
we've been talking about a website. We need something going on for drivers. And
yes,
as this man Dion has come up with my dream, but his dream as well, and I think it's a dream for a lot of people, getting people back to work, and he created sapcompanies.com. And Mr. Dion, how long did it take you? Tell me your story. Uh what got you into this, and let's talk about it. What's your goals on this, and how you got came about it?
Well, basically, I am a SAP driver, and I failed a drug test for THC about 2.5 years ago. So during that time, I had completed my SAP program, which cost me about $800. It
You
was
should have used smart
expensive.
living, man. Should have used Charles Irby.
Yeah, see, I didn't know. You know where? Well, I think it was like more of a husband and a wife type deal, where he act
Oh,
like where he was the provider and she was the, of course, you know.
oh,
So I think
okay.
they tried to just, they got me,
Got the
because
hustle.
that course,
Yeah.
you can find that course for pretty cheap, depending on how long the process is. But basically, when I completed that process, I was looking for jobs left and right. I went to Craigslist, Indeed. And during that time, I don't think we didn't have no kind of Facebook groups at all,
Mm-mm.
so it wasn't no Facebook groups when I started. But now there are, which they are helpful in many ways, but you have to still dig deep to find companies on Facebook. Doing my process, searching for companies, all over the web. I was writing them down. See, everything started off as a piece of paper. So
Mhm.
I had a piece of paper and I was writing down companies. As soon as I find, I will cold call companies, and most companies was telling me no. So it wasn't up until recently when I just thought about sapcompanies.com. I was just trying to find a solution to a problem that I had and to help everyone else doing their SAP process, and just to create a one stop shop into sapcompanies.com for all SAP drivers.
Yep. And that's kind of like me and Charles were talking about something like that a while back. And
Yeah.
when I said you created the vision that we've been wanting, man, like I haven't had time to go there. So that's awesome. Basically with Facebook, we're in a couple Facebook chat groups. We see people posting companies. They tell people, oh, go to owner operators. Who? Who do you go to? There's no information out there. Somebody might post a company that's somebody's posted it 20 different times. In other words, the reliability of
Yes.
Facebook isn't really all that good, correct?
Yes.
Now,
So it's pretty much just the same
now,
companies left and right that you will find
yes,
on Facebook.
yep. Now, what's funny is me and Dion, we met on Facebook, some of those groups, and I noticed he was promoting his sapcompanies.com, and he had a list of over 300 guys, 300 companies, if not more.
And growing
We
and
all have,
growing.
and growing of companies of your preference hiring SAP drivers. But he does charge. And this is where it caught me at first until I heard why he charged. Because you know what? Getting your life back might be a little bit, but it's still it'll be worth it. So Dion, when you and I talked, you charged $50 for sapcompany.com, right? For people
Yes.
to use your, and that
Yeah.
provides every company will have numbers and all that. So explain to people why you charge and what's the purpose of this, and what do you provide with sapcompanies.com? What is that $50 for?
Okay.
If there's a company putting a list out.
Let's break these down into multiple sections. Well, you asked me this question, so I won't
Yeah,
get
yeah,
lost
yeah.
in my own words.
Yep, go ahead. The
Okay, sorry
floor
about
is
that.
yours, my friend. Yep.
Okay, so basically, um, I created sapcompanies.com just to be like that go-to place for SAP drivers to go to when they're looking for work. So, what SAP companies provide is an easy to use interface where drivers can, interact with the companies themselves. So each company comes in a rectangular block where you can either see the company's details, you can edit that company when you are calling that company and you need to change something within a company, which I've gave everybody power to do. So sapcompanies.com is a community-based platform. So if you see something off, fix it. And on top of that, we have it to where you guys can delete the companies that no longer hire SAP drivers. And I implemented this feature because we are not in control of the trucking company's policies or their insurance. So we got that in place so that, we can make sure that the list is updated regularly by everyone. Also, if you find a company that's outside of sapcompanies.com, you can easily add that company to the list just by pressing the add company button. You just will input all the details of the company, and once you press submit, the page will refresh, and you can search that company within the database. So this is big because over time, we have about 300 companies right now. Over time, give it about a year, give it 2 years. If all of us are in the list working and calling companies, fixing, adding, this would be a massive list where you just can go to and just for your own personal needs when you are needing it. So also is implementing a new feature where users can add notes. So the users can either add global notes for everybody to see or personal notes for yourself when you just want to make sure you didn't call that company already, or if the company told you to call them Monday of next week, then you can add that to your personal notes. Now, the global notes can be more fall in line where you can leave a review of that company for other drivers to see how they treat the company, how they treat the
And
drivers as a whole.
that's a big thing. I noticed that some SAP companies, they will take advantage so
Yeah,
hard of these drivers out here, from low
they will.
pay to just running them hard, running them illegally. They will just straight drown these guys all because they're desperate and they need help. So this actually could be a safety thing and help
Yeah.
drivers in the long. So yeah,
And I can implement something where users can rate the company as well if need be. That's just to give that added, like, do I want to work for that company? They only got 2 stars from the SAP community. Oh no, I'll forget that. I ain't gonna mess with it.
yep.
Just but
So
also the details that are available for each company is based off what us sub drivers have to go through. So if you are looking for just say the trailer types, we have dry van, reefers, flatbed, step decks, hazmat, and even tankers. We also have a company detail that states whether or not if that company does the return to the drug test. And another one that is either step 5 or step 6 is the hiring process. But we also have up until 1 year and up to that 5-year mark that some of these companies will hire you during your SAP process.
okay, yeah, because there's some companies I noticed that won't even hire you till after you're done. You have to finish your so yeah. But there's companies
But
out
we
there, and I
keep
think
those companies as well, just because you still have to find a company later on, doing doing any time. Once you feature follow up, you still have to find those same companies. Nothing has really changed during that time.
now one of the things that you have me sold on that I want to talk about is on your website. I asked you, do you have companies that will hire new drivers? And what did you tell me?
I'm pretty sure of it. I know for a fact is one on there that I do know for a fact. So we would just all have to just call the companies and just figure out what the companies are asking as far as experience. But I
Yeah.
am sure it was about a year and a half ago where I found one company. They had a waiting list. I can't tell you the name of that company because I really forgot the name of that one, but it
Got to go to
is.
staffcompanies.com to get and figure it out. Have them check, get it. I mean, it's a simple layout. When I was exploring the website, I loved it. There was a couple little things that you and I spoke about that I was like, yeah, well, this fix, and you've been right on the ball with this, Charles. When I tell you this man has been right on the ball, when I told him about a certain error, he fixed it that day. He has been developing this, and let me ask you, what's your story on, like, how did you create SAPcompanies.com, like your IT side? Like, you went to school for this, right?
Yes. So, I pretty much was like, um, when I made it, I used Python, I used HTML, CSS, and JavaScript along with some Bootstrap. So all of this creates sapcompanies.com. It's about 10,000 lines of code that I put together within 3 weeks due to my ADHD and being hyper just on it, just nonstop and just
He's
focused very
been
hard.
focused.
I'm talking about staying up 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning and waking up at 8, 9 o'clock and jump up, wipe the sweat, and get back to it. And ain't got no coffee. And we get no coffee. Just be right up, So my wife, she would just get like mad. She's like, "You coming to bed tonight?" I'm like, "I don't know. Get back to work." I'm on a mission. So she's been kind of upset about it. It is what it is. I'm taking care of business first. So, but the reason why I charge though is, it is not just a simple app. It is more than it's not a simple website. It is an app. It is a web application which run on a server. So in order for everybody to have all these different features that I put together, you will have to create an account. So when you create an account, that creates a new user in my database, which that database alone is not free. So depending on how many people actually come along and they sign up, they get interactive, they write notes, they leave reviews and likes and comments, all of that, everything together creates an unpredictable monthly fee. So it's very unpredictable. It's very unpredictable because it's based on usage and the amount of data that is being put into it. That among other little things that doesn't really matter because they are simple. They are paid off for like maybe 2 years, 3 years, and that's for my hosting and my domain name. So other than that, those are the main 2 expenses that the company has accumulated. But that's why it's a community-based effort. So we all understand this. So you don't be like, I'm not gonna say don't be like, but because you still can be upset because I am charging. Some people might say, why you just won't, give the list out to everybody for free? I'm like, okay, I can give you a piece of paper with a list on it. That same piece of paper I had for over 2 years. And I can send it to your address. I go out and send it to you. But that's just a piece of paper. So it doesn't come with the features of ease to use. You can't write off that list. Well, you can take your time and just, call the company, write it down over here. But that's old school. Who want to do all that? It takes a lot of time for that,
We did, man, and it's a pain in the butt. We got almost like 100 something. I think I don't know how many companies we got. My girlfriend, every truck we'd pass, we write down the name of the company. We'd call them, stop drivers, yes or no. Some with conditions, some with not. Like it's a lot of work just to even get a hold of recruiters and people at these companies. It's a lot of freaking work. So I mean, and can I talk about AI for a moment on your website, or is that still in like? All right,
it's still beta, but people
it's still
still
beta.
can't use it.
Okay, this is Charles. You gotta hear this, man. So you're gonna trip. This is one of the things I said. The $50 alone is worth it. You can go on the website, and it's still beta, it's still learning. You can say truck driver, 23 years experience or 5 years experience, whatever, flatbed, whatever, and when you type it in, it'll pull those companies up that match the criteria that you type in. So you say like I'm a truck driver, 22 or with 1 year experience, and I want to do reefer, flatbed, and it pulls up the list of companies that go by what you type in, what you describe. So it's like you're Googling it, but it just pulls up for you.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah.
That is the most idea. And these are SAP companies, So like for a SAP driver, just to be able to pay $50 just to get that list alone, but like to be able to have options, not to have to go on Craigslist or Indeed or whatever, type in SAP and read the description. It's like a lot of the times, like you were saying, Dan, they when you type in SAP, you'll read the description, no SAP, don't hire SAP. So this is a guarantee.
SAP, So it's just tedious finding these companies. It's very tedious.
Is SAP? It's a programming thing, right? When you type in SAP, it brings up some programming. And that's an issue. This is a one-stop shop place for SAP drivers to get a job. And you know what? $50 is $50. Go to DoorDash and Uber. Get that $50. And what's your what's $50 to your whole life? Getting your life back, to getting that career back, to getting $1,200, $1,500, $2,000 a week again.
And then that's lifetime access for the first 10 to, I'm gonna say, 20,000 users. So that's the price. And I'm gonna say around that time we would know more about how much the company generates in revenue or like expense on the expense wise. So we might come up with a better payment model where it's like maybe like a small monthly fee of like $10, maybe $12 a month, to keep access to the list. But for those,
so in other words, you want to get into it now. You want to get into it right now. That's saying that to the viewers, they're going to want to get into this right now before you charge them. This is lifetime access to get into it now.
Yes. Well, been our early users, So you are coming in when we are fresh. The list needs a lot of updating. So you come in now, you could be like at the forefront of the program and wouldn't be subjected to any changes later. Just because we appreciate all the new users that come in and take advantage of what we are putting together.
Mm-hmm. So Charles, what do you think about all this?
What I think is that I feel sorry for the old piece of paper that old school Charles used to have. Leave my paper up. You killed it. Dion, you killed it. Okay. Well, what has happened with Dion, he's going to be a game changer for this industry because now we have a way to have comments put into the entries where people can find out if they want to go with this company or not. So a lot of stuff that's been handling flexing and flossing and shaking and faking by employers will be brought to the light.
And I think Charles, this website will be a game changer for your clients too. If people need a job, send them this way.
Yeah.
Send them this website.
That's right, and that's needed. Now, as a SAP, I must preface me being on this podcast is that my primary directive from the Department of Transportation and the FMCSA is that SAPs be a gatekeeper of people that's going to be loaded on the freeways, driving their semis as projectiles. We have to get these people that supposedly got positives and refusals out of their truck, go through the SAP process, and get a second chance. Okay, so I have to preference this that SAPs typically got to stay out of the employment area. We cannot rally people for employment, but that's reality. Employment is reality. How are you going to take employment out of the SAP area?
So that makes sense.
That by Dion being Yes. I have to preface that with people that the bureaucrats that are watching this and et cetera. As a SAP, I'm a gatekeeper of people being on the highways that's using drugs and alcohol. Okay. However, I'm also a person that provides a second chance, which does include employment or some areas of employment. So I have to walk that fine line. But I want to tell Dion, one of the things I heard, and I want people to understand what I just understood, you have a way of filtering the website so people can go directly to, if they have a tanker endorsement, they can look at employment in those particular areas, correct?
So really what that is, it is ChatGPT integrated into my system. So if most might know what ChatGPT is, but if you don't know, it is an AI model that knows everything about everything. So I just gave it some data about sapcompanies.com. I gave it some data about all the companies that are on the list, and just to provide you what you need as a truck driver. So it's like on Facebook, I see that it's some drivers that say, well, I feel like giving up. And then some other drivers saying, I'm just going to go with this company paying 30 cents a mile. And then in the comments, we have people saying, well, just do what you got to do, man. Just go with the 30 cents until you get it done. I'm like, oh, what?
You're back.
Ain't gonna do what I needed to do. So I'm not gonna settle. That's something else that drove me to creating sapcompanies.com, just to give options. You have options now. It's not like you just have to go look left or right. What I did for the past 2.5 years, 3 years is looking, calling. No, 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 no. No way. We are not about to hire you. But I called. Search.
Oh,
I did all the dirty work. All the dirty
And
work.
so instead of getting rejection, you get exception.
Yes.
You
And
know,
I
instead of
wow.
mhm,
That is
yep.
awesome. That is awesome.
And also I want to notate,
You
on
know,
his
that's the
site it
game
does
changer
get.
aspect of it right there.
Mhm, yeah.
Mhm.
He also notes on his website the companies what type of drug tests they do. And the
Yeah.
reason why I feel like that's an important benefactor is because yeah, maybe somebody is getting clean from like marijuana, right? We are just talking
Mhm.
about that. It still says your hair follicle, you know, like 90 days ago they might have been changing their life around, but they don't want to go take a hair test, so they have an option to go to a company that just does urine until they're ready to take a hair test,
Yeah.
whatever. I think that's really good because a lot of people will be looking up, does this company do hair tests or urine tests, whatever.
You
And
have
then
to
of
call
course,
them just to know.
and that's just embarrassing enough as it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think if you guys are
Hmm.
watching, well, I
Hmm.
know a lot of people are going to be watching this. There's a lot of valuable information here. Sapcompanies.com is going to be pioneering the way for a second chance opportunity for drivers. 100%.
Absolutely. About you being more
So,
of a consultant in that area. So
mhm.
uh, things worked out good.
That I think this is a lot like this man is above level when it comes to the coding. I'm going to leave it to the pros on this one, but I will still be here to help people get to him or get to you or just give people a guide on where to go because I get hundreds of emails, hundreds of messages. Who do I talk to? How do I get a job? What job do I go to? Every single day. If you guys go on my TikTok alone, it's nonstop. People messaging me. How do I get, like, what do I do? And that's all I do. So now I refer them to Charles for the SAP program, and now I can refer
Yes.
them to Dion or refer them to sapcompanies.com for a job. And that's the best way to go. Just use my platform to help people to get them forwarded out. So
It's great, and it's great, and it is really great. And you
now,
know what? I'm
Yes.
glad I
Thank
met you,
you.
though, man. I'm glad I
Absolutely.
met both of you guys. I met Mr. Charles before I met you, and me and Mr. Charles, we were just talking about some things, similar to, just helping people. That's the
Yeah, we
goal.
were
Just
chopping it up
go.
good. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I, Charles, when we did our last interview, what can you mention, or are you allowed to say like the percentage of calls that you probably got in from just the last video you and I did on business?
Oh, overwhelming. Uh, I think about 40% of my new clients is due to that latest YouTube video mean you did. I've had some clients that really came on and got a little emotional because they were in such a bad emotional state of having a
Mm-hmm.
SAP violation, and their family is and their wife is sitting there, and they found your video that we did, your
Yep.
podcast, and
Hmm.
wow, people are so relieved, and
Yeah.
and they want to
And I
call me
read
an
all
angel
those
and call
comments.
you an angel, and I had to tell them no, that's reserved for Jesus Christ. We just grinding for Him. That's what we're doing. We're grinding for Him. So God is all God, Jesus DNA is all over that podcast. So a
and
lot of people are
and
getting
honestly,
emotional relief because they finally getting some solutions.
hmm and now we have one more solution, sapcompanies.com. And it's going to be the solution
Yes,
of getting, we got Charles Irby with Focus 7 LLC.us, correct? And I actually got his phone number down there. If you guys need to get
yes,
into a SAP program, call this man here. And then when you guys are done with the SAP program, make sure you go to sapcompanies.com and get back into work. Is that correct?
That
absolutely.
sounds
Just
really
use this
good.
unit right here. And
Yep.
and I also want to give a shout out to Miss Jerry Banks, the OG that's brought all this to the internet from the very beginning years ago. So I also shout out to you, Miss Jerry Banks of Life
That's
Over the
Jerry
Road
Banks.
Recruiting. And thank you, Dion, for bringing this new idea, new
Thank
technology.
you. Thank
Wow,
you.
New mind.
this is just the
New
beginning.
mind. And I think that's all we can do is just pioneer our way to a brighter future for everybody. You know, getting them that second chance. I think this is
Yeah.
how things work is by discussing ideas, options, and plans, and getting along and not beefing, huh, Dion?
Yes.
Because I tell you what, Charles, I tell you what, man, when I see that this man was selling the list and like I'm putting the list out for free, you know, and I'm thinking, what's going on here? You know,
Yeah,
like, but when
yeah,
I start
yeah.
talking to him more and getting it, I said, you know what? You pay $400 to get back to get the SAP done. What's another $50 to get your life back? To get a job, you know, like whatever to
Right,
find the best company for you
right.
while getting your career back.
That's an investment.
Yeah.
It's an
But,
investment.
but that's how I look at it. I made a mistake. I gotta fix it. I'm a
Mhm.
man. So when I own that mistake, I do what I have to do.
This in the proper way that Dion did things is he got in touch with you, Brad, because once again, for everybody watching this around the nation and around the world, this podcast, this man right here, Brad, he's been the OG for a long time. Him and Jerry Banks, you know. So and Brad and Dion went to him, which means that's what a man does. He goes to
Yeah.
his elders or his OGs and go ahead and have a consultation with them. So
Yeah.
Yeah. And
everything
you know,
was handled the right way.
I tell you what, and Dion's been so cool about it, man. You know, this man, he literally says, "Hey, man, I want to like talk to you about it. I want to get
Yeah.
to, you know, if there's way, you know, and we just had a discussion, and that's what led to
Yeah.
this. So,
Yeah.
but is there anything else we want to get to for closeout? We're running out, of getting low on
He did
time.
handled it the right way.
Yep.
Yes. Dude, this was a
How we
pretty
doing,
good
you guys? I'm good.
pretty good video, man. Thank you for having me, man. And I just want to help everybody get back to work
That,
the best way I know how to.
all right, buddy. Yeah, I think that's what we're all
Yes.
want. But
Yes.
so, if you guys have failed a drug test in the truck industry, be sure to go to focus7.us, right? And then photo up right here, focus7llc.us. Mr. Charles Irby, just look him up. And then as soon as you guys get done, make sure you guys
Yes.
go to sapcompanies.com with over 300 plus SAP friendly companies for you SAP drivers out there. This is the revolution. It's time to get back to work. Thank you all for watching. I'm your host, Big Trucker B, with Charles Irby, the SAP, and Dion McGee, with the founder of SAPcompanies.com. I will catch you on the next video. You guys have a wonderful day. Peace out.